Hello and welcome to the Energy Within podcast with Shalyn and Catherine, where we discuss womanhood, motherhood, spirituality, and more.
On this week's episode, join our conversation about bisexuality and us. We'll be getting personal about one of the aspects of our identity, and we hope that it helps you find grounding in your own identity, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about sexuality and those kinds of things, but we really want to hone in on the idea of identity and how it's always in you, it's always within you. Aha, hold in our podcast title there. But it can also change and grow and expand over time, and you discover new things about yourself. For example, just this last week, I discovered that I love doing interviews. I am currently hosting a giveaway with a bunch of authors from all over North America, and I sat down with almost every single one of them this week and did 30-minute interviews on live on Instagram, which was a little bit nerve-wracking. A couple of the girls messaged me beforehand and were like, I don't think I want to do this. I don't know what to do. And I had a list of questions thought out. And anyway, I was really excited about it, and I nailed it. So, it was just felt very invigorating to I love knowing how people's brains work and how people think and why they do the things they do. And yeah, I always thought that I was scared of public speaking, but I actually don't know if I am.
Well, I don't think interviews are public speaking.
No.
Being on live, sure, public
to some
speaking,
degree, yeah.
But you don't actually see the people.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that would be considered.
No, it's not public speaking on a stage in front of 5,000 people.
No.
That's different.
That's to me is public speaking.
But I think that I could do that on a stage with 5,000 people watching. I could interview somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I put myself in that headspace, and I just wasn't as scared as I thought I would be to do something like that. Yeah. So that was really cool. Did you discover anything about yourself recently?
I did. So I have always been a helper. I'm a really good assistant. Admin is my jam. I like taking care of people and helping people and trying to be impactful in some way in their lives. Typically I try to tailor it to how they need or what they need, and then I show up for them in that way. So that's something I've always done. And I've just come to realize that I do enjoy doing that. That's one of my giving love languages.
Yeah.
If you will.
A strength. A piece of who you are.
A piece of who I am. A piece of my identity.
I think for moms too, people who are mothers or parents in general, we often get stuck in this idea that we're just moms. Our identity. I know that you and I have separation from that, but it's a thing that a lot of people deal with.
Yeah.
Where it's just I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife. I'm just a whatever. But we have to look at the pieces of our identity and what makes all of us up. We love superhero this, and we love this book this, and and we're a sister and a mother and a daughter and all of it's a piece, and the puzzle is us. And for us, one of our big pieces of our puzzle is that we're not straight. So for example, me figuring out that I was not straight, we'll get into terms in a second here, but me figuring out that I was not straight was something that was always inside of me. It's not a choice that anybody can make, all of those things, which we'll get into that in a second. But I didn't really it didn't click in my brain until I wrote my first book, which one of the big parts of that book is about a queer queen and her future wife. Spoilers, I guess. It's been out for a while, so not read. You can just go read the book. But yeah, it's reading the book back and figuring out that hey, that sounds kind of awesome actually. Yeah. Why not? And then I came out to a close few people, and they were all yeah, you're shocked? And I was yeah, aren't you shocked? And not a single person was what? You're not straight? Everybody was yeah, bro, we knew.
Yeah.
And it's could you have told me? Could maybe somebody have told me?
Well, I think it's funny is your reaction to me. I literally said to Catherine one day, so I think I'm bi after reading her book or during her reading your book. It was Let It Rain for me that I just put the label on myself.
Mhm.
Whereas like I've been like this all the time. I've been attracted to women my whole life. Like
Yeah.
it's just been there
Mhm.
in the background, and I think I just kind of like pushed it down, being like, oh, that's silly. Like I have a husband, I've got kids. Like, no, that's just silly.
I just like watching lesbian porn for no reason.
Right? Exactly. So I put in the terminology. Like I basically labeled myself, and I was like, yeah. And I'm pretty sure you were the only one that had that reaction, where it was just like,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, dude. But and yeah, everyone was just like, cool. And like very few people. Actually, maybe not. I think a few people know now.
Quite a few people know.
Quite a few people know for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something I'm like broadcasting on my social medias.
Except that we're doing it on our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like clearly people around us inferred or figured it out, or we made it fairly obvious. I know that my ex at the time, when I told him, he was like, yeah, you will stop and watch a woman with a nice ass walk past. And I'm like, because it's not, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Like,
it's right there.
It's right there. And
he's like those reels. Women at the gym seeing like a dump truck ass walk by, and you're no better than a man.
No better than a man.
I check out a lot of asses there. I was like, oh, what machines are you using?
Yeah. So it's always there. And week before last, we sat down and we had a conversation actually about like what signs that we like, looking back now, hindsight is 2020, and there was a lot of like pop culture references. So many. Where we were like, maybe we should have realized that, for example, when you're watching Pirates of the Caribbean and you're far more focused on Keira Knightley than Orlando Bloom, maybe you're not the straightest tool in the shed.
Yeah, I definitely checked out Keira Knightley more often than Orlando Bloom.
Way more. Yeah.
Oh.
Which is funny. There's a show called Heartstopper on Netflix, which is like one of the greatest shows of all time. And there's a scene where one of the young boys is played by the actor Kit Connor, and he's watching Pirates of the Caribbean with his mom. And I can't remember exactly, but the mom was like, "Oh, remember when you were younger and you used to watch this movie all the time? You had such a crush on Keira Knightley." Meanwhile, he is like forking Orlando Bloom, and it's just like, like how many people figured out?
Many people.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean was like a really big awakening for a lot of bisexual people.
Yeah.
And The Mummy as well.
Oh my God, The Mummy. Not only a phenomenal movie, but that woman.
Right, yeah. Well,
I wanted to be her and be on her.
Rachel Weisz is everything for sure. But then there's also the Egyptian woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Nefertiti?
I don't think it was Nefertiti. Maybe. Anyway, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Okay.
Beautiful was her name.
Beautiful.
But then the men as well, right? Like the men were also incredible in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, does it come down to the fact that Brendan, whatever his name is, he was wearing like a holster,
white shirt,
and the holster,
white
and
shirt, suspenders.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's the whole thing. So, I can't choose. Everybody was just beautiful. And even the bad guy, like, just it was all good.
Bad guy was good too.
Well, I remember one that we talked about that we both really, really agreed on was Megan Fox and Transformers.
Oh my God! So I recently rewatched those with my husband, and I think every movie she was in, I was like, babe, she's gorgeous.
Megan Fox is perfection.
Gorgeous.
She's perfection.
She's got such deep eyes.
She's just. I think she was created in a lab, really.
I don't think that, but she's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I had a lot of like kids movies.
Okay. Well, hey,
kids movies.
You're right.
Good movies.
She's referencing Atlantis.
I'm referencing Atlantis.
Is an animated movie. I don't know if it's a kids movie. Okay.
It's a good one.
There's a lot of sexual tension in that movie. There's a lot of adult content in that movie.
I haven't watched it since like I've been an adult.
You need to rewatch it as an adult.
Okay. I'm I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, but you had a crush on Kita.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, she was hot, but mainly the mechanic girl, Audrey.
Yeah.
Audrey. Yeah, I have a thing.
You have a thing for
I
that?
have a thing for femme-looking women doing manly things.
Yeah, everybody does. Yeah.
Not everybody.
Okay, you're right. I'm so sorry.
Not everybody.
Right.
I'm just telling you a piece of my identity that I discovered.
I accept your piece of identity. I accept your piece of identity. Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. On that same kind of like note.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart, when she has like her short hair and she wears a suit, but like she's very femme, but she's very masculine.
Yeah.
Like that for me.
Yeah.
That is that.
Yeah.
But like also on the same scale, Megan Fox is very feminine,
very
femme. Right? Like it's,
yeah.
Which leads into
yeah.
Talking about like gender identities and sexual expressions and all of these things. So you identify as?
I identify as bisexual.
Very good. I used to identify as bisexual, and then I did a little bit more research, and I actually identify as pansexual. So in case you don't know, I will tell you the very specific definitions. So bisexuality is someone who is attracted to more than one gender. It doesn't have to be male, female. It can be male, trans. It can be female, non-binary. Like it just bisexual just means two genders. Pansexual is, I'm going to read it to you. So pansexual is typically refers to those who feel attraction, sexual, romantic, or emotional, or all three, to people regardless of gender. So the joke that I say a lot is, I don't care who you are, what you identify as. If I like you and you're hot, I'll put it in my mouth. Or I would. Anyways, I would. Yes.
Yeah.
If I like you and you're hot and you're nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And good energy. Energy's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Energy's important.
Energy is important. That's the whole theme of our podcast.
Look at us pulling it back.
Energy.
This is the second time we pulled it back to our title. And yeah, so we both came out officially in our 30s. To ourselves, to each other, to the world-ish. And that's really interesting. That's kind of one of the main focal points of this episode, is just that you can come out to yourself, and not just in sexual identity, but you can come out to yourself and discover new things about yourself all the time, every day. And you can rebirth yourself and go through symbolic deaths and discover new things about yourself, or discover old things about yourself you might have forgotten. That's a whole other thing I didn't even think about yet. Yeah, it's just really interesting because we are multifaceted beings.
So multifaceted.
So multifaceted that sometimes we don't even know all of our own secrets, even if we kind of know them in the back of our heads.
I don't like the word secrets.
Don't like the word secrets?
No.
Mysteries?
Mysteries.
Mysteries, is that?
I like mysteries.
Surprises?
Surprises, puzzle pieces. I really liked the puzzle piece.
You really
liked
the puzzle. Okay, the puzzle piece metaphor.
Yeah, the puzzle piece analogy was that there's a piece of you that's just like on the floor, like it's there, but maybe you just don't see it yet, or you just don't know it's there yet, and then you're like, ooh, puzzle piece. And it was the one that you were missing all along.
Yeah.
And that's you.
More to you.
More to you, yes.
More to you.
More to you.
So going off of the whole, what we were talking about, like signs that were always there, is something we were talking about earlier today off camera, which is that we had both kissed girls in our youth, and that we were wondering, so maybe you, if you feel so inclined,
please let us know.
We want to do a scientific study.
We generally are curious.
Is that when you are a straight woman, do you kiss your female friends in your youth? Because every woman I've talked to has kissed female friends in their youth, but I have never asked that question to a straight woman because I don't know very many straight women.
All those people that you asked and said that they did, are they not straight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for clarification.
Just for clarification. So if you are a straight woman, or a straight person, or whatever, did you kiss someone of the same sex, gender, when you were younger? Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's the question.
Scientific study.
Scientific study.
Because
we're scientists.
Because we're scientists. We're doctors. We're not. Yeah, it's just very interesting because that is a very normal part of our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of childhood of the women that I know personally.
Yep.
That just like, we think it's normal. And maybe it is, but maybe it's normal for people who are bisexual or pansexual or just queer in general.
Yeah.
And just intriguing.
It's very intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious about that.
I too. Yeah.
I really want to know if straight people do that.
Yeah. And I guess if you're a queer person and you didn't kiss anybody growing up, also we'll take scientific information from all sides.
I want your experiences.
Yeah. Your very personal childhood experiences. Would you like to share them with us?
Personal childhood experience. So one thing that I had said earlier was be on her or be her.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, I watched the movie like Legally Blonde a lot, and I loved the character Elle Woods. I wanted to be her, and she was beautiful, and I really vibed, connected with her.
Yeah, there's a word.
There's a word. I can't think of what the word is.
Aligned?
Maybe aligned. Okay. So I really aligned with her. And yeah, so there's like those kind of experiences and women that were around in my life. I wanted to be her in all aspects of the word. Like I said, with Rachel Weisz, I loved The Mummy. I wanted to be an archaeologist, like that movie, and like history of stuff and all of that. Like I wanted to be her, and also be on her. So then that's kind of an interesting thing for me, and maybe why I didn't figure it out until later on, because I wanted to be with these women, and I also wanted to be these women.
They were inspiring.
Yeah, I wanted to like take pieces of them and adapt it to my own self. But also I was attracted to these women. So I think that was very like confusing for me growing up. I didn't know like where the line was. Yeah.
That's a fair line to be confused by.
And I still have it. I still want to be Elle Woods. Like that's a great freaking movie.
Yeah.
Fucking love that movie. And
Reese Witherspoon is stunning, but you wouldn't sleep with her. Right?
I don't think so. I know. I'm kind of like, maybe.
How do you turn down Reese Witherspoon, really, at the end of the day?
And like the bunny suits? Now I'm questioning it all.
And that is the perfect segue into a really important point I want to make, is that you can sit here now today and you can say that you're bisexual, and I can sit here today and say that I'm pansexual. But we learn more, uncover more, find more puzzle pieces under the couch as we progress and grow older. And that's beautiful. That's part of life. So maybe, and like our tastes can change too.
Oh, absolutely.
As well, right? I don't know. I think my taste in men has always kind of been like all over the place. I don't really have like a type, except glasses. Glasses is my type. But glasses is my type when it comes to women as well. So
glasses are hot.
Glasses are hot. How can they not be?
Yeah.
How can they not be? And I think that's probably just like a growing up with Superman and Spider-Man and being a fucking nerd.
Oh yeah.
Being a nerd. But
for sure.
Yeah, I think that who we are right now is who we are, and it doesn't, like, if we discover something new about ourselves in the future, it doesn't mean we were lying. It doesn't mean that we were wrong. It just means that we only knew what we knew and what we were ready to know at that time.
Yeah, ready to know, I think, is a big one.
Yeah. Our next episode is going to be talking about the energy within, and that will have to do with Reiki, the energy of others, and the power to harness it for yourself. And that is an episode I'm extremely excited for. It is all about, it's all my jam.
Things you're very passionate about.
I'm very passionate about.
I'm very excited to hear you talk about it. I will have very little to add to the conversation. But in the meantime, thank you for joining our conversation about bisexuality and us. We hope that it inspires you to peek under the couch cushions and maybe uncover new pieces of yourself, or be open to uncovering new pieces of yourself in the future. We would love to hear your thoughts.
You can find us over at The Energy Within Podcast, and that's on all platforms. And we hope that you see your power today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.